Hey everybody, my name is Pat Cohan and this is the THSADA Director's Cut, where we feature Dena Scott, Director of Athletics for Fort Bend ISD, and Kevin Starnes, Director of Athletics at College Station ISD. In this episode, Dena and Kevin share how they created an inspiring head coaches academy within their district, what modules are part of their programs, ways to schedule it, and success stories of how it's benefiting their schools. Before we dive into this episode, we do want to thank Neptune Gametime, who provides a library of over 50,000 songs that are 100% lyric safe and perfectly tailored to pump up your crowd. If you're interested, go to neptunenow.com to take advantage of their latest promotion. Lastly, if you're interested in more THSADA content, go to THSADA.com or follow us on X at official THSADA. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this THSADA Director's Cut.
So hopefully you can find something from one of these two head coaching academies to utilize in your districts. So our meeting structures, we started doing it with one meeting a month. And so then we found that that was kind of hard to do a meeting a month, and Shannon knocked those out. But we do now do about 2 meetings a semester. And then evening meetings is when we usually have them, and we have practice after practices or competitions so that our coaches that are looking to be head coaches can actually attend and get the information. And each meeting starts with special guests and special speakers. Then we have an open forum for any questions, and then we always provide resources for our coaches afterwards. So agenda topics. We have been fortunate to, and Shannon, I guess, has been able to get UIL members to come and speak, Human Resources Department members, superintendents, head coaches from our district and outside the district, PD executives, high school principals. And the reason for that is that we want our head coaches or our aspiring head coaches to know what these people are looking for, just like Kevin talked about, in the interview process, what you can expect to see in those interview processes, but also what these are the components of what a head coach is needed. We also provide interview preparation, mock interviews as well. We do the do's and don'ts. And then resume review, great ideas. They'll submit their resumes to us, and we'll review them and provide feedback. And I know we're doing that here in the AD's conference as well. So again, anytime that you can get your resume reviewed by people to give you some feedback is great. And then we also provide resources in the form of books, professional development opportunities, and then we provide mentors as well. And so again, just any opportunity for these coaches that are aspiring to be head coaches to get in front of us as well. All of us, our whole department is there at these meetings, and so we really want to get to know those coaches. And like I said, with over 500 coaches in our district, it's hard to get to meet them on a personal basis every single day, but in these type of settings, we get to really get to know them and get to know their style and their coaching and their theories and their what their intentions are moving forward. And then this is the best part, as far as I'm concerned, because this is why we do what we do. We're building leaders, and so we have several success stories, and the names on here as you go down, and the pictures are worth and again, Shannon noted that we needed to get some pictures on there. And so again, you can see Coach Pinson there with Coach Anthony when he was on his staff at Hightower. He's now the head football coach at Willow Ridge. We have Jennifer Lee. She was a middle school coordinator for us, and now she's the head volleyball coach at Kempner High School and co-coordinator. We also have Jeff Whitaker, who's just been promoted to head basketball. Hogan Daughters, head basketball. Jamie Alexander, she is a head track and field and cross country. And Austin Kent, head basketball. And so again, whether you do the modules, and again, I'm stealing some of those things, or if it's more, organically done and having individuals come in and just speak into your coaches, there's really just a lot of opportunities for you as district leaders and campus leaders to provide those opportunities to your coaches that are aspiring to be head coaches, because we're not gonna be around much longer, so we're gonna need somebody to fill in our spots. So
So just starting off, so we identified the goals for our program. The first one is to prepare coaches for an opportunity to be a head coach and or a middle school campus coordinator. We want to guide coaches through creating artifacts to help them with their interview, the interview process. We want to equip coaches with a depth of knowledge just regarding UIL, local policies, HR matters, and how to resolve those. Program organizations and planning, and then what we had is 4 meeting dates and that we are calling modules. Finally, we would complete a mock round of interviews with each academy member to prepare them for those interview opportunities. So this was our first, we just completed our first cohort, so this was the first year for us to do it. 2 Aprils ago, we sent out a Google form to all of our coaches and said, anyone who's interested needs to fill out this form. We had some questions about why do you want to be a part of the program? What do you aspire to do? Just to get to know them, to know their goals. We selected 10 coaches to be a part of this first cohort. Then we scheduled 4 modules. So October, November, January, and February, we were fortunate enough to get C&I to approve subs for those people, which was very fortunate for us because they didn't have to miss athletic periods. We were able to do it in person. And then finally, in April, which ended up being May because April was a whirlwind, we had a networking lunch reception. So we invited some members from THSADA, UIL, retired ADs to come in and eat lunch with our cohort and really just network. So the first thing, our first meeting in October, they received an email about a month prior to, and so they had some pre-meeting homework. We asked them to create a slide about themselves and their families. So this is what starts the artifacts. So when you get an opportunity to be a head coach and you interview, a lot of times they want you to present. They give you a few minutes. I know that's part of our process. They get about 8 minutes to tell us about themselves and tell us about what your program would be. So they had to come in, and that slide had to already be ready. And so that was our icebreaker presentation for that day. And then we went in and we started talking about the UIL, organizational chart, legislative bodies, how are rules passed. So the second module, a month later, their artifact homework was they had to create a mission or a vision or core beliefs of the program they want to take over. Then they had to present those to the group. Then we started talking about effective practice planning and what those components look like. Being a 5A high school, then you have off season. So what does off season look like, and how do you build in the off season to get to season, and then and so what does that look like? Module 3, managing student, staff, and stakeholders. So this was a big thing as far as we started talking to them about managing students and parents, managing their staff. And I know the panel talked about, how do you onboard coaches and how do you get them into your culture? And so we talked about that. And then we talked to them about what happens if it doesn't go well. If it's not a good fit, what do we do then? We talked about booster clubs and, you can read through that. Now, their pre-homework was a 365-day plan or a transition plan. Transition plan meaning they got the job. What's their 30, 60, 90-day plan for that? What are they going to do? Finally, we're talking about interviewing, networking, and professional organizations. So they had to, we talked about their resume and best practices for resumes. They were able to send us their resumes before this meeting, and we gave them feedback on that resume so that they could critique it or they could adjust it or edit it. Then you've got the interview, now what? So they call you, they schedule the interview. Now what do you do? We talked to them through that. And then we brought in a couple of our coaches to do small groups. So we had 10 people. So we put three coaches with 2 head coaches, and they were able to just talk. And we rotated through that. So things we learned. First, assistant coaches know less than what you think they know. Okay, and I think that was interesting for us to realize throughout this process. Some of this curriculum would benefit all the coaches and can be used in your coach's professional development. And so we had some head coaches that would come for a day and observe and participate. And so they all commented about, like, well, that'd be great, how to have critical conversations. We should do that in our coaches PD. You should utilize the experienced coaches to help build your curriculum. Okay, your coaches are boots on the ground. So we had 2 aspiring athletic administrators in my district that wanted to be a part of building this process. And so they helped us with the curriculum as well. It created relationships across our schools to help break down barriers. Being a 2 high school district, there's natural animosity, there's natural competitive natures, and really the 2 didn't get along. And so this helped with that. They were able to identify future head coaches who we want to lead our programs, plus areas for future growth for those individuals. So now I can go to a couple of those people and say, hey, I'd really encourage you to do this. This will really help you in your growth. And so I was able to do that, we're able to do that, excuse me. It will cost you a lot of time, but it's worth the investment for us. We've had a couple of head coaching openings. One of the people who went through this cohort this year just got a 6A volleyball head coaching job. And so it has prepared some of our coaches to take the step now, and then others. We had actually 2 that went through the program and said, I'm not ready for that. And so that was good.